I'm about to set up my generator, my clamshell, my wet plant sluice with a 12-volt pump, and this, and I'm going to run for about an hour till about 5 o'clock. See how much dirt is currently in there. Just undo this little system that I got on there. So there we go, we can see the ore in there. I'm going to run this out and crush this down till it's nice and fine. Hopefully get rid of a lot of these chunks here with these rocks, just like ground up and polish. We'll try break it right down to powder. We'll sieve it through. This is the mesh we want here. We want it to go through that. And then we'll run it through there. See what we do. Moment of truth right here. We've got our 12-volt submersible in the pond. We've got our sluice set up. We had to reverse the plugs to put the alligator clips on it. And now I'm about to plug in this Bosch 12-volt charger into the generator and see if we can get some power on the pump. I don't know if anything's happening. It just had air in the system. So we can flop it up like that. There we go. So she drains pretty quick, but we're going to run a recirc setup so we can recirculate our water out of here. Our dirty water will end up in here with the majority of our tailings in this bucket, and our overflow will end up back in here where we'll have some clean water so that we can keep running it through. I'll try to set it up so that I don't lose much water back here. But even if we do, it'll only be a little bit. So let's see how we go. Just going to empty a load out of our barrel now. It's been going for about 20-25 minutes. As you can see, we've got a beautiful fucking mix. Oh shit, get that into there. Of what our mill balls have done. They've crushed this all right down. There's still a bit in there that probably need more grinding down. A lot of the bigger heavy stuff. But she's definitely looking fucking perfect. Sorry, the audio's a bit shit at the moment. I've got a face mask on to protect me from this fine powder that's in here. But damn, that's coming up good. We'll just take it through the filters now. We've got it through. We're just going to shake it all. That's so good. So that's our oversize. That can go straight back in there. Not much of it left. And in here, we'll just sort it out through these filters in here. Sorry, I'm trying to do this with one hand at the same time. I'll just give it a good shake. Perfect. So we'll separate that, and now we'll have a look. So that is that's still quite fine. It's really good actually. So what we'll do is we might just take this. I mean, that's the real fine stuff down there. So I might pan that out. I might run this stuff through the sluice. We'll see what we get. Right, so I'm just going to shut things down for a sec and just revise. So this was our small little sample we took earlier today. I've just cleaned it up a bit more, and as you can see, you got the iron that's in there, probably come off the mill balls. See a nice tail of gold up the top there. This gold's quite heavy, so the water's not washing it away. It's a bit of gold that's real fine that is moving with that iron though. So we'll leave that on the side. That is our benchmark to test what we got in here. So this is a 25 micron sieve, or a 25 mesh sieve I should say, not micron. Down there is our real fine granulated stuff that's made it through this sieve. And what we've got in here, we're going to run through the sluice, and what we've got in here, we're just going to pan off in this big pan and see what we got. So what I'll do is, probably shouldn't fucking pick this up, not have anything under it, but I'll pop it on top of there for now. What we'll do is we'll run this dirt through here. As you can see, there's not much of it that's real fine that comes through, but it is like, fuck, real fine. So what we'll do is tip this into this pan, mix it up with some water, and see Just get it upside down, tip it all out. There's still a bit of dirt down the bottom there, but we can worry about that later. Now we'll just get some water into here, mix it up, get it all loose out the dirt, rinse it out a few times and see what we got, and I'll come back to you guys. Okay, so we've cleaned this up quite fine now, and this is coming through the 25 mesh sieve. You can see a little tail at the back there behind the iron and the sulfides. Now it is not as good, as impressive as our first lot that we ran through this morning. As you can quite visibly see there, that we got some real nice gold. So just as a test, we now know that crushing it that fine hasn't extracted too much, and what we're going to do now is get the sluice running and we will feed in our other material. We've tipped it out of that sieve into here. It's everything that didn't make it through the 25 micron, 25 mesh sieve. Now what I'm going to do is I've just tipped it into this bucket, and I'm going to add some water and turn it into a slurry and give it a mix up. That'll help the gold settle out of it, but also help the wash plant do what it needs to do in separating the dirt from the gold. So we're going to give it a head start in here, get it all mixed up, floating, because now when it comes to running through, it won't clump up and run through the wash plant. And that is a trick in dealing with really fine gold, is you've got to run it through quite wet. So I'll get this pump set up now, fire it up, and then I'll just hand feed this through and we'll be done in a couple of minutes. Okay, that is us done, and as you can see here in the riffles, we've caught quite a lot of iron, which is a good sign. It means that the sluice is going to catch what we're putting through it. As you can see, there's a lot of iron that's been caught under these ridges up here, in amongst the quartz. It looks like beach sand and silica sand. So what we'll do is I'll just tear this down. There's nothing that's been caught up here. This is usually where we would find anything quite large, but we're not really working with large stuff at the moment, being it's real fine gold. What we're going to do is wash this out, put it all into a tub or into a pan, probably put it back into this tub and then into a pan, and we're going to pan it off. So I'll use that big pan again with all this material. I'll come back to you. Guys, just going to come back to you here real quick. Now, because this gold we're working with is quite fine, if there are any chunks in that have gone in with the ball mill, they would have been pressed and squashed. And right over here, this little round ball down there, that is a piece of gold. In here we have another round ball, which is another piece of gold. It's just contaminated. And if we have a look along here, you can see that on this stone, I can get this thing to focus, on the corner of this stone just in there, there is a speck of gold. I think that's the right stone that I'm looking at. Hold up. No, I seem to be wrong. There's no... maybe I was looking in the wrong tray. There it is in there. So we have a look right in there, we can see a speck of gold. How cool is that? She works. Alright, so I transported it all into there because it was easy to wash out. Everything just slid straight into the bucket. So I washed that out, and I've got all my dirt in my pan. And as you can see, a lot of it is quartz, and there is some iron in there. So what I'm going to do is just settle all the heavy gold down to the bottom, which is usually where gold goes, and then just get rid of the top layer nice and gently. Almost scoop it off and let the water take it away, and then bring it back. Do the same thing again, and then let the water take away all the light material on the top, and then do it again, and we'll try clean it up nicely for you guys and see what we got in here. Alright, so what I've gone is I've gone and grabbed my big orange magnet, as you can see, just in case you forget what it is. Black sand eliminator. So these black sands in here will be the iron, and there are some pins that have come out of the drum where I've had things. So what we'll do is we'll just run this over it, just like that. We'll have a look at the bottom of it. You can see we've caught some shit on there. What we're going to do is dump it in this bucket in here, because some of our black sands can contain gold, and we may decide to process this at a later date where we separate it, but mainly the steel pins came out of there. Therefore everything else in here is either sulfide, iron sulfide, gold, and what we do have in here is a gold nugget. I just need to see if I can find it again. I'll come back to you guys once I clean this off a bit more. Guys, here you go. So you can see as it's come through the mill, it's rolled a lot of the gold into balls. There's a flat piece right there, and it has contaminated some of the gold. But if you want a comparison to the tip of my finger, we got a nice tail up the back there, and we got one nice flake actually. This guy right over here on my finger now, that's nice and dirty. See if we can get him off. There you go. There's a nice piece of gold. So yeah, I think that's successful. I think it's contaminated actually. Contaminated with mercury. And that would be due to this pan having mercury used in it previously. As you can see, that side still looks like gold, but if you flip this nugget over, you can see it's quite dark, like a silvery metallic, and that is what mercury does. Mercury actually dissolves gold. Most guys, in most cases, will use mercury in a milling machine to absorb the gold and then squeeze the mercury out, leaving them with a mercury amalgam. And I'd say that's what majority of these pieces in here have had happen to them. Those balls that I've got in there are actually out of a mercury amalgam barrel, so I would say that that is where the mercury has come from, and that is why a lot of it is silver and turning silver. So there we go. Perfect. Great little exercise for the day. Now we just got to do the volume, and the volume is heaps, but I've got to wait for the crusher. So I've got all of this high grade stuff here. It's really good. And then wait till you see the other shed with the other collection. Just walk over to it. There's probably half a ton, and I say half a ton of really high grade ore. As you can see,